Hi everybody, welcome to the channel for new battle report. This time a battle against Saurian Ancient after the update, which seemed, quite a big correction, we could say, for Saurian Ancient. I was really eager to see how they would perform. I mean, some stuff got nerfed, but I had the feeling they could still do something interesting. And it was really interesting for me to see how they basically, what's the power level right now after the update. So I think it's also interesting for you. So it was again against Marchema like last time we played a couple of weeks ago. My list basically more or less the same than the week. I think the one thing that I changed from previous battle is in exchange of the second giant I put a thunder cannon, and I had to change slightly the stuff of some character to get that. But basically that's more or less it. So thunder cannon instead of the slave giant, and I have already the new point for magical resistance, which allow me to spare little points on the BSB, and basically to get the cannon, which is a bit more expensive, but really wanted to try out this cannon to see how it feels in the list and if this could be maybe a solution for me. My opponent was playing a short list, as you can see, with 3 big scoring, so he has 9 Cayman, 32 Tegu warriors that are going to have 1 Tyroscutus as great protector in the unit, then a block of 25 Tegu guard with the Archmage, who is a master evocation. He has the Veil Weaving Mastery, which is he gets a Veil token each time he casts a spell, which is quite strong, and then Ancient Plaque is rerolling 1 dice in his own magic phase. 3 Tyro with Suncaster Crystal, which is 2d3 strength 4 AP1 grinding attack, which is not that bad, but obviously Tyro lost a lot in the last update, so he wanted to try out to see if they can still do something. 12 Mystics with a champion, and then 3 Flyers, 2 units of Pterodon and 1 unit of Warhall Riders. So quite interesting list. As you can see, not many points that are easy to take in the list. A lot of large units, so definitely going to be interesting. We play randomly, second target, frontline clash, and below you have both player spell selection in case you want to see that in detail. Matchup analysis. So he has it's a blocky list with big footprint, relatively low mobility, so I felt I should target a smaller part of the map, not play too wide, because he has somehow a bit more combat threat than me, but bigger footprint, so I need to play on that. Secondary. Basically, second target is 1 on turn 6, so I could play the drop game. I have more unit than him, so I could delay deployment, see how he goes, and try to get a good counter deployment. Warhall will be my prime target for range damage. They are basically, in combination with his big block that can hold some charges, he could then counter charge with Warhall, so they could be dangerous. And I felt also with the new rule, if he marks some unit, he gets a lot of attack, and that could hurt a lot my units, so I need to be careful about that. Possibly interesting combat between the blocks. Get the charge, get the buffs will be key, and also manage obviously his chaff. Careful about potential snipe. I can use my Mercvet's MR to win big. I know that I need to get rid of the Tegu Guard, and I think not a great matchup for the 3 Tuskers and the Giant, because he has large units, so it's not so easy for them to shine, but in combination with other stuff they could still do something. I felt it's a relatively even matchup. Deployment wise, so he won the roll for side, gave me the impassable, which makes sense. Put his second target right here. I decided to put mine all the way to the right. I felt if you analyze his list, he has 3 big units, so if he has to basically focus 1 unit on getting this second target, I felt this is 1 fighty unit less to go for the left, and I had no other good option. I felt 24 would have been putting here on the left, which is not so good. So basically I felt let's put it that way and let him start to deploy, which we exchanged a couple of drops. I think his first drops were like Pterodon on the flank, where I started like with Tribesman, a Giant, and maybe another unit of Tribesman here. And at some point he dropped like at +6. He put here his Tegu Warrior with Spear, so the core guys, with Great Protector, Mystics, Ronfodon, Tegu Guard, with the Archmage, Cayman, the 3 Tyroscutus. And my counter deployment, I went with Frost Mammoth, so obviously on the right and on the left, covering all the possible placement of Pterodon to basically avoid him going out of my line of sight. Then here I have Tusker Cav, Tribesman. Here I put my Bruiser, no, that was the Merc Vet with all character to get MR early on. Bruisers, Cannon, and Dogs, basically. So yeah, since we traded a couple of drops, I couldn't put the dogs somewhere here, which I would like to. So I had to put them here to be still within 12 of the Great Khan, and then I can move around the house and try to do something. Let's move on to S8 turn 1, so I push forward. Nothing crazy in Magic Phase. I dispel the fly move, and he got touch of the Reaper, 2 wounds on my cannon. Basically, that was it. My turn 1. I'm getting behind the wall with 2 units, rearranging the character, putting the 2 mages and the Great Khan in this unit. Are not going to move anymore from this unit, and the BSB remaining with the Mergvet. Yeah, starting to push. As you can see, there is like a pattern forming, which is a bit that way. So like this is kind of a weak flank where I'm trying to delay. I have a strong unit, but he has some good strengths. So I'm trying to make him waste time. And this is going to be my stronger flank where I'm going to push to secure this secondary objective and get some points, basically. So yeah, as you can see, I push max with the Frosty, move a bit forward with the Tuskers, and those guys move slightly forward. I felt I should do a bit more than him from range, maybe. So that's why I was being patient and waiting to get rid of something before I can push more. Also worth mentioning, the Refordon put a marker on those guys, the Bruisers. So if they get on charge of me, I know that it's kind of scary because each flying beast basically is getting 5 attack against me, rolling to hit. He has crazy magic. So they could like kill 3 or 4 bruises, I think 4 or 5 even, easily, and then this unit is not able to fight anymore. So I need to be really careful about that. Magic Phase got Swarm of Insects on the Run Fodder, did 1 wound, and then with shooting I killed 3 guards. Cannon didn't hit this time. I tried to target the Great Protector to try to basically make this unit weaker. He's turn 1. So he passes the mark check, fly over my giant and position that way where I cannot charge him. It's well done. I could have potentially placed my giant slightly more to the right to avoid that. As you can see, I covered all the angle here in the middle, but I just left a blind spot here where I could have done slightly better than that. So yeah, he passed the mark check, fly over me, get me some hits. And on average, here you see the chart, which is going to be interesting. Each round it should do 2 wounds to me. As you can see, the green area is between 1 and 3 wounds. So that's the most likely what he should do. Push the Cayman towards the flank, trying to get these points and basically secure the second target. Push those guys as support to the Tegu, and the rest move. As you can see here, he started to back away, hide the Pterodon at the moment, and basically wait for me on this left flank, trying to be patient and pushing from the right. So you can see what happens. What happened with... I think he did 1 wound with those guys on my giant. And then he cast in magic, heal the 3 guards that I killed, so they are back. Touch of the Reaper did another 2 wounds to my cannon, and I dispel the Aura flying move. So I don't want him to fly too quickly, but my cannon is already nearly dead. My turn 2. So I pass the march check with the giant and infiltrate myself between his line, trying to be annoying. It's basically always the idea of the giant. Trying to be very annoying for him and delay him, basically. So here I'm forcing a lot of march check, and that's perfect. Those 2 units backing off a little bit. Those guys just reform and those guys just backed off. I move my cannon away from touch of the Reaper, trying to escape some more snipes. Move those guys slightly forward and start to move a bit more to the side and continue to push a bit more with the Frosty. In the magic phase, I got a fireball that did 1 wound to the Renfordon, and that was it. And I kill another 2 guards with the shooting attack, but it was complete again, so I'm down to 23 right now. Just trying to create some pressure. I felt if I kill some, maybe it should allow me to engage. It's easier for me to engage, and it's also more complicated for him because of the loss of bodyguard potentially if I kill everybody. His turn. This time decided to push hard with those guys, and what surprised me a bit, he changed his ID with the Cayman. Instead of going for those points, he decided to turn and push towards the middle, which is forming, as you can see, kind of a traffic jam, which is not too bad to me. He passes another march check which is annoying because I trapped him pretty good. Basically, I put myself in a position where he couldn't escape if he failed the mark check, but he passes again, goes over me. I think this time 2 wounds. Continue to back away from me here, and here basically I baited him to fly over. I didn't felt bad about the pterodon going to the side doing some sweeping attack, because I felt then they are not in the middle in a position to chaff, which could mean opportunity, and especially with the Frosty that is only wounded on the 6-up, basically it's low likelihood to do something against me. So I felt this is nice, and here I had the trap in mind, as you will see next turn. In the magic phase, he got... I dispelled the flying move again. He got +1 resilience on the Tyro in case I wanted to charge. Here I didn't have anything good because of the maximization. I wouldn't get an overrun into them. I think into them as well. So basically it's baiting me to charge, but I have nothing good to do. And then what else did he get? Reroll 2 wound on 2 dice against 2 on the Tyro, so definitely not an good idea for me to charge. And as you can see, the Renfordant still 4 models are in a well position to charge anything that would go in the middle, so basically it's a no-go zone for my Death Star. Let's move on to my turn 3. So what I do is I trap those guys and I tell them it's a mark check. Musician is here, so it's mark check on -1. If you fail, the Frost can easily eat you. Continue to establish control of this second target. Move those guys slightly back. Still quite far away from me. Continue to move. I didn't move the... Yeah, I moved the cannon away. And those guys move a bit forward, but I'm out of line of sight of them. Reposition my giant here all the way to the back, looking at the back of them, pushing them a bit forward. So basically creating a situation to... Yeah, force him to turn around if he wants to, and I'm seeing him in the back, so he cannot continue to push forward without risking some charges that could be maybe dangerous for him. In the magic phase, I get +1 resilience on the Death Star. Then I got 2d6 strength 4 on the Renfordant, and I rolled crazy. I rolled like 10 hits and did 5 wounds total, plus 1 wound from the blaze. So I killed 3 models, which is insane. Didn't expect that. Then I got Hereditary on my Death Star just to basically make sure those guys don't want to come in, because it's the same strategy with the Renfordant. If they go in and kill 3-4 bruises, then I cannot fight anymore against the Tegu Guard. So I need to be careful about that. And what else? The cannon did nothing, did a 1-2 wound. So I tried to shot them maybe, and I did a 1-2 wound, so nothing from the cannon. He's turn 4. He moves a bit forward but didn't charge me. Decided to turn around the Cayman, try to trap me. Those guys passed the mark check, I guess so, yeah, and move over me and move a bit back. So I have some charge options, which is interesting. The dog don't see him, but other than that, I have some options. The guard move a bit forward, but still no overrun for me. Those guys move sideways, and the Pterodon fail the mark check, obviously, and I have now an easy charge, which is nice because it's 300 points, and if I get rid of them, that's nice. In magic phase, what did he get? He got first of all 1 wound on my giant with sweeping, so I still have like 3 wounds left. He got Danse Macabre on the Tyroscutus, and I felt not so annoying for me. Basically, what can he do? If he comes here forward, it's further away from them. I can then, because right now I cannot chaff them properly, but if he moves them forward to be aggressive, then I can chaff and get rid of the Tyro, which is nice. So I felt it's not too annoying, and to my surprise, what he decided to do with the fly move is move all the way here to support the taking of this right flank. He felt this is going to be maybe complicated. This is secondary, so he brought some support, which surprised me a bit. Then he got -1 resilience on my Death Star, which I let go, and I dispel +1 strength on them that were shooting at the giant, basically. And he passed with 1 dice, healing on the Tegu and heal 2 Tegu. And to be honest with you, I felt the number 1 of Druidism healing 4 infantry elite guy on a 5-up. That's for me, that's too strong. I felt the rest from the spell is okay, but 4 elite guy for a 5-up, I felt this should be maybe 3. Moving the casting value, not sure, because the rest seems decent. But yeah, 4 wounds for 5-up. I felt it's too good. My turn 4, I charge on the left. He passes the terror check, which is huge because now he has feint flight. And I charge and he fled. On the right, I charge with the tribesmen that were As you can see, kind of blocked, so I felt let's try to get rid of them and see how they goes. Both will be a non-rerollable 6 minimized to rally, so on average one of them should fail. So I charge here, I fail, charge to his flank, and obviously I knew that those guys were lost because he has brought the Tyro plus the Cayman, so he's going to eat me no matter what. So I felt let's make them flee, and I moved the giant that failed the march check just here behind the hill to make sure that if he rallies, I see him, I can charge him again. I felt this is nice, and nobody sees me, so that's perfect. And now it was the time to do something that I love to do with my Ogre, which is chaffing and counter push. So now I advance my chaff, push forward as much as I could without risking a charge of them too likely, and also no overrun from them. That's basically what I did. The cannon didn't move this round, and that's it. So now I'm trying to get some points basically and get into interesting position. And he has no available chaff because the Pterodon are both fleeing, and the Ramphordon are dead. So it's basically, I forgot to mention last round, I got rid of the Ramphordon with the shooting. I put all my shooting attack to finish the last guy, and basically with the BSB kill him. So that was perfect. Took some points, which is nice, and the Ramphordon are away, no ability to heal them. In the magic phase, what happened? Got a fireball that did 1 wound to Mystic, got 2d6 strength 4 and killed 3 Mystics, but I roll like triple 4 and lost the spell. And shooting, I killed another 2 Mystics. So got rid of how much? 6 I guess, which is not bad at all. Let's move on to Eastern 5. So he charged my tribesman. I decided to stick. I felt if he failed the charge, could be annoying for him, for the Cayman. He's going to eat me no matter what. It's a 6 Swift Ride. And I also felt if he failed the charge, maybe I can do something. So I felt it's better than the Flea, which I decided to stick and be annoying for him as well, for the Cayman to move around. But he still managed to do it quite well and move out of the way towards the secondary. Rally both Pterodon on 6 minimized, which was a blow for me. And then he managed to put them within 12 after the reform, and on a 5, or maybe I don't know, maybe get leadership on that. So maybe 7 minimized rollable. He managed the march check, sweep over me and move this position and did 1 wound to me. Didn't charge with them, move backwards here. Those guys here rallied, feign flight, so they can move here. And the Mystics hide behind them. In the magic phase, I got basically got a eye roll on the... I didn't think too much about what can he do in magic. I look at the situation and felt he has 5 buffs. Like he has reroll to hit, reroll to wound, -1 resilience, +1 strength, and heal. So he has like 4 or 5 combat relevant buff. And I felt plus the fly move. I felt not sure I'm going to try to engage, and I also saw some opportunities. So I felt let's see what he does, but I didn't use the binding. I think this was a mistake. I let him cast the fly move. He did eye roll. I had to let that go. And at this point of time, I felt I have opportunity for the dogs to charge the Mystic and push for that and let him escape with that, but get some points here, which is what I decided to do. We'll see if it was wise or not. Rest of the magic phase was basically him getting reroll to wound on the Tyro, which didn't matter for me. And he failed the heal on something, on the Mystics maybe. Yeah, he killed me here. I think I had 1 guy left and I fled and he restrained, maybe, or he catch me. We'll see. No, he restrained. My turn. Charge with the dogs onto the Mystics, push to chaff here, move everybody to be in a position to charge that last round. And I try here to push hard the Death Star to create a situation where the Giant is in a position to charge and the Death Star as well. So maybe I get some long charge last round, we will see. I didn't decide to look at them because charging them last round wouldn't mean anything since his bodyguard is going to hold no matter what. So I felt let's forget that and try to get some points. In the magic phase, I got hereditary on the dogs and +1 strength. He dispelled Rod of Battle. Was a bit funny. I got Rod of Battle 3 dice, he dispelled with 2, but then +1 strength 2 dice, he didn't dispel with 3, so it's funny. Combat, I did 3 wounds, he did 1, he broke, and I catch him, which is nice, got some nice points here. And also, he loses some spell. His turn, yeah, he moved here in a position to bring BSB. Here basically what he did is to reform in a way that he uses a little bit my chaff against myself. We will see how that goes. I didn't want to sacrifice the Pterodon. Also, I think the fear of losing a third check, creating panic, and maybe losing all the points. Maybe that's something that he feared a little bit, that make him didn't want to sacrifice those guys, so just went over me to shoot me and do some sweeping. And here he just put himself, sweep me, did 1 wound to me, I guess. I have 1 wound left. Basically, I had the Cayman looking at me, but I saw an opportunity here. We'll see. In the magic phase, he got... here I got Binding Scroll and Spectral Blade, so basically I really wanted to engage them, so I dispelled the most annoying spell. Touch of the Reaper did nothing to my Tusker, then he got second Touch of the Reaper, did 2 wounds. I passed the panic check, and then 1 wound on the Giant with shooting. Yeah, at this point of time, I still have 1 wound left. Yeah, I had 2 left. Yeah, I think I still have 1 wound left. And I did also 1 more wound to my Tuskers with the shooting attack. But no panic check this time. And my last turn, here he managed to be out of charge range of them. So let me tell you, here he was just outside 18, so I cannot get anything. And here Giant on 1 wound, basically I felt if I charge here, it's a 7 minimize, no reroll. And if he failed that, I win secondary. I create a panic check on them, so I get half point of them, maybe even half point here. This is not bad. This is not bad at all. So I tried the charge, he passes the third check, and I died to the ruin, which doesn't matter much. I think it was worth it. And here I triple charge everything into this unit. We'll see how that goes. Magic, I got +1 strength, and hereditary with some lucky dice. So basically, same dice, +1 strength, so a bit lucky. And then close combat, I went to town. Basically, that's what I love about this type of combo charge with Ogres. I kill 4 ranks with my normal attacks. And then, yeah, basically was auto break. I didn't even need to roll the stomps, but basically killed the whole unit. He fled, managed to kill 1 Tuskers before fleeing, which means he get half point for the Tuskers, and then he went out of the board, and that's the end of the game, basically. And I got those guys back to be within 6 to get the secondary draw, which ended up being a 12-8. So really interesting. He got my Giant, half the cannon, half the Tuskers, and 1 unit of Triton. On the right, basically. And I got the Warriors, the 1 Tyro, the Great Protector, Ramfodon, and unit of Tegu Mystics. And that's it, basically. So what can I say? Deployment secondary, I managed to avoid to fight all his army, which was my purpose. I felt with the footprint and so on. And the secondary use, I think it was a good way to avoid that. Then it was a KG game, as expected. On turn 3 from Ogre, I think killing the Ramfodon was huge, gave me the edge. It was 1 less threat, a flying threat cannot be chaffed, so I think that was huge. On turn 5, Ogre, I think I should have tried to fight the guard. I think that was a mistake. I should have Binding Scroll the fly move and then engage the guard. I made some math after the game, and I would definitely have been in a position to get rid of him in 3 combat phase. Even with the buffs, reroll to hit, reroll to wound, doesn't matter much. I'm striking before with the Great Can, 2 mages on paired weapon, plus all the impact hit, the breast weapon strike 4, so I should get a good amount of wounds before he strikes. So I felt that was my mistake to get more points, basically, like I mentioned at the beginning. And then turn 4, so an Ancient. Yeah, he moved away with the Tyro to, I think it put Guard under pressure. Obviously, it was a help on the right side, but I'm not sure I needed that, to be honest. And he could have just stayed with the Guard and provided a counter charge, and it would have made the Guard way, way safer. I could have never engaged them with the Tyro protecting them. Starting position of course, small unit is key. I felt the dogs weren't in such good position at the beginning. Finally, I managed to chaff because of his repositioning, but he could have continued to block me with the Tyro, and I wouldn't have been able to chaff, basically, because of the footprint and mobility. And I think he could have potentially avoided the combo charge turn 6 on the left. I think there was a better solution possible to avoid this happening. Maybe sacrificing the Pterodon. He could have passed another 6 minimize, maybe. But yeah, it's a lot of points that maybe could have saved some of those points, because the key for me was to get all this charging on. Maybe killing the Tusker was a mistake, because I wouldn't have been able to get so many models in contact. So maybe could have done something a bit differently on this left flank. to avoid me getting all this charging on, basically. Guys, that's all for this battle report. I hope you liked it. It was a very interesting fight. Thanks out to Marchema for the game. I should have engaged the guard, would have been really interesting, mostly for the training, like I'm always saying on the channel. Usually I try to engage a bit more on the training, which here I didn't do, and I kind of regret it, because it would have been a great learnings for the matchups. So next time I will try to engage a bit more. Here I think I had a perfect opportunity to engage, and yeah, I got a bit in the rush of the moment. You're like, yeah, now it's magic phase, okay, too many buffs, I don't bind, and then it's already too late. I think it's exactly this point of time where you should say, okay, give me a second, think carefully, because after not using the binding, it's too late. The timing is over, the momentum is over. So this is a key moment in the battle where you should take the right decision at the right moment to give you the opportunity. And then I could still decide. I mean, if you get a crazy magic phase, I could still decide not to engage. So I felt here I made a small mistake with the binding, and after that, the opportunity was gone, which is a learning. Guys, thanks a lot for watching, and talk to you soon on the channel. Bye bye.